ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Out of the Fast Lane podcast. I am your host, Brady Hauser. This podcast brought to you by Parks Companies and Swagger Factory Apparel. Go check them out on their pages on Facebook and, of course, their websites. Swagger Factory putting up a lot of fire suits, gloves, shoes, team shirts like I have on right here, and much more. So go check them out. And then, of course, Parks Companies is the seal coat company. Go check them out if you need anything done with your pavement. But today's guest is NASCAR crew chief, championship winning crew chief, Brian Pattie. He's crew chief for the likes of Juan Pablo Montoya, Clint Boyer, and right now he's currently crew chiefing for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with JTT Doherty Racing. So, Brian, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, obviously, Daytona's a couple weeks away. You ready to go?
Not quite yet, but yeah, we tested a few weeks ago. Went pretty well. Came back, and that's what we're doing right now is prepping the primary and obviously our backup car for Daytona in the midst of testing Phoenix and getting ready for the Clash. So it's pretty busy.
So, obviously, off season, what's Brian Pattie been up to in the off season? I know it's been a couple months since NASCAR's been on the TV, but we're getting ready to bring that back up. But how's the off season been?
It's been all right. We with a new car and phasing out the old, it was a lot of work just getting rid of a lot of inventory we've had for obviously many years, and acquiring all the new parts for the new car is taking time, and they're steadily coming in. So it's learning the new avenues, right, of the new car. It's
Mm-hmm.
from what we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going well, and took the family to vacation for Christmas as a present. So yeah, it hasn't been bad.
So obviously now Daytona, of course, like we said, is a couple weeks away. Next gen, first time it's ever going to be on the racetrack for a NASCAR race. What's your thought? What's First of all, what was your first thoughts with the next gen when it first came out, and are you excited for this? Are you interested to see how it's going to be? And what's your initial intake on this?
Well, I was excited. It's everyone likes new challenges, right? And the the reason for the cars obviously is budgets, and also to get the field closer, and I think it's going to do that. So um, it's got a lot of trinkets, and it's a lot of work to put together. It's not just a kit car. It's kit car that takes a lot of detail work. So learning all the details has been time consuming over this winter, but yeah, I'm totally geeked. It's they're cool cars. I mean, they're closer to like an IMSA road racing type car, which I like to watch, and got a lot of good friends doing that stuff. And actually, for example, I went to Petit Le Mans last year just to get a little closer view, and how they go about their weekends, and their race strategies and their race adjustments. So it's that was fun to go to and see. But yeah, I'm totally geeked about the car. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a new adventure, right?
Mm-hmm.
For all of us, everyone in NASCAR. So it's I think it's gonna be cool.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, like I said, you're the crew chief for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. What's Ricky's intake on the next gen car? Is he liking it? I know he's got a dirt racing background, so is he adapting to this car pretty quickly? Is he enjoying it? And what's his initial intake?
He seems happy. He's we had solid tests at Charlotte. Daytona went solid. Phoenix, the last couple of days went pretty well. The first day, the second day got off a little bit. Had some mechanical issues we worked through, but yeah, I think he's it's going to showcase the teams that have the detail, and maybe hit on a few tricks or so, but it's also going to showcase the driver's talent, right? So I think Ricky can perform quite well in this car with a low downforce, which is kind of similar to what we had in 2017 when he had his best year.
Mm-hmm. So obviously they announced the LA Coliseum is going to be the host of the Clash this year. Looking at that raceway, it definitely looks like it's going to have its own challenges. For you as a crew chief, quarter mile, there's going to be a lot of cars there. I mean, going into a quarter mile raceway, what's even the mindset? Is it don't tear up equipment, or is it just survive?
Well, Yeah, definitely don't tear up equipment. We're too early in this deal to be tearing up stuff, and this car will get turned around and probably more than likely either go to Phoenix or Fontana. So definitely don't need to tear up cars. But I mean, quarter mile racing. I'm a Central Florida racer, right? We didn't have anything larger than a half mile, so this is cool. It's kind of like going to Lakeland Speedway, which we raced there quite a bit. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be challenging. The cars aren't probably a little heavy for a little quarter mile racetrack, but the tires are wide, so should have a lot of grip. We've just been studying a bunch of notes that the NASCAR provided from Bowman Gray when they tested there with Clint Boyer, Tony Stewart, and Dale Jr. So between that and doing a lot of driver sim stuff, I think we'll be well prepared.
And obviously, like you said, Bowman Gray. Usually, that track it's known for the tempers flaring. You think
Yeah,
tempers are gonna flare a little bit during the LA Coliseum?
I would say probably so. Hopefully, it's not us. I've been a two of those, and it doesn't pay very good when so. But yeah, I think it's going to be good short track racing. I think it's it's going to be a tale of two races, really. Just getting in it. It's going to be hard, and then two, when you get in it, 150 laps isn't very long, and you're not going to try to tear up equipment. So really, say the top 8 are probably the only chance of winning, or in the top 10, I guess. But I would say those guys are going to beat and bang a little bit more. I mean, I would assume 11th on back is probably just going to ride and try not to tear nothing up because they need these cars moving forward. But it's exciting. It's cool. It's going. It opens up avenues, obviously, for the future of our sport. Venturing out, it'd be cool to go to SoFi Stadium and places like that and race. That would be kind of trick. But let's get this one under our belt and have a good race and have a good show, and then see what happens.
So we'll go into your we'll get a little bit into your career insight. Obviously, you started out with Juan Pablo Montoya. Is that correct?
In the Cup Series, yeah.
In the Cup Series. Obviously, Juan Pablo now running IndyCar, but getting to work with him, how was those first couple of years, and how did you kind of get brought into NASCAR?
Well, I'll start with just getting brought in NASCAR. I met the Nemechek family back in the summer of '92, still in high school, very much like yourself, and came up obviously when I had summer break and worked at their shop, went to a little school, and after I graduated high school, I moved to Charlotte from Zephyr Hills, Florida, home of the Rudiments, and for Joe, and worked for him for 11 years, and then obviously off to Ganassi with his Xfinity team, and then on to Juan Pablo. So, but Juan Pablo was not the first Cup opportunity I had, but definitely the first full-time one. Was 2009. I started with him in 08, and 09 was our first full-time season. Yeah, obviously the guy's super talented, right? World talent, world known, expectations high, and I thought we didn't win as many races as we should have. At least we got in the victory lane, but not as many as we should have. But made the chase and made a nice run at a good points deal in 2009, and yeah, he's super talented, great road racer. It was a lot of fun to go to road races with him, which is what I like to do. And yeah, it was a good time.
So obviously he came from the IndyCar background and a Formula One background. Him adapting into NASCAR, was it tricky as a crew chief, kind of like teaching him how to race a stock car compared, because it wasn't as open wheel as a F1 car is. Was it a little tricky getting him first started into the ranks in NASCAR?
Yeah, I think so. But I didn't really start with him. When he came over, he had other crew chiefs when he first started with Chip Ganassi Racing. I got him 3 years in, or 2 years in. So, some of the maybe bad habits he had were gone by then. We really just focused on execution, getting all the speed out of our cars every week we could, and finishing where we should, right? And for the most part, we did that. Like I said, 2009 was great. It was a lot of fun. Running well every week. I mean, we could almost predict where we're going to finish. It just was that good. So it was definitely it was a treat to work with him, and actually talked to him at Petit Le Mans last year for a little while. It was reminiscent of the old days.
Mm-hmm. So now, then you move on. You went and moved on to Michael Waltrip Racing, which unfortunately is no longer. But you worked with Clint Boyer, which for me personally, Clint Boyer growing up was basically my racing hero. I love that guy. I actually went to Disney Speedway. That's an old raceway now. But I went to Disney Speedway. He was doing a private test down there, and I with the 33 Cheerios car.
Okay.
Walked right over right into his. He put me right in his race car, and I was only probably 4 years old now at that point, and ever since then he was always my favorite. But obviously, you got to experience Clint Boyer on a whole nother level. Clint Boyer as a person and driver, what was he like to you?
As a person, one of the coolest guys you ever want to be around, right?
Mm-hmm.
On and off the track. But in the car, super bubbly. When things are going well, he's tremendous amount of fun. Obviously, his his personality is just like that. Cuts up, a lot of one-liners. He and the spotter had, throughout races. It was kind of funny, right? It was weekly
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
humor, but always ran well too. So, guy was super talented. Obviously, dirt background helped him. He adapted to racetracks really well. There were certain tracks that that he ran better than most, or everybody has their favorites, and he had his too. So, but he definitely, obviously one of my closer friends that I still have in racing. We still communicate quite often, and but yeah, that was the reason I went there. Like, he was a dirt racer. I thought our backgrounds were similar, which they were, and we got along great and still do.
And obviously, he's now in the Fox booth as an analyst. But last year they put him in with Jeff Gordon, and
Yeah,
I guess we're gonna. I know. I think you know where I'm going with this. But
yeah, that's
obviously, you were the crew chief during 2012 Phoenix, where the whole chaos in the pits with Clint and Jeff Gordon
that was
happened. What do
that
you
was more
remember
of a
about
line
that day?
dance.
What do you remember about that
Uh,
day?
it was we were running for a championship. We were second or third in points, fighting with the 2 car for the championship, and felt like if we kept it, I think we were running top 5 for sure. We were running top 5, and him and Jeff were running really hard, and then we touched him come off turn 2 once, and he thought we ran into him on purpose, and then I saw him take a swipe at us on entry, and then he went up the wall, up the hill there in turn 3, and I'm like, well, this is great. He's going to wait for us, and he did, and we all knew it. We talked about it on the radio. Hey, watch 24, and then the wreck happened, which if you ask him on a personal level, I think he would say he was in the wrong, but is what it is now. It really pissed me off because we were in a position where we could actually fought for the championship come Homestead,
Mm-hmm.
and we did, and obviously we wrecked and finished second in points. But what was funny is we once this fiasco happened and went to Homestead, I think Jeff 24 finished first and we finished second, which was kind of
Mm-hmm.
think that the week before we were holding hands doing line dances and everybody thought it was a big fight, and then the following week we're running 1-2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would play this clip right here, but there is some stuff in there's some language in there that I probably shouldn't have
Oh,
posted on my channel.
I'm sure I was next
That's
level mad right there.
you were pretty heated in that.
Well, I just, you work so hard, 36 races to get in that spot to win championship. It just takes a lot, right? It's
Oh yeah.
Back then we didn't have stage or the
Chase.
the chase. So it was a 10 race, I call it a true championship. And we did the first 9 races we did right. If you can do that and make it, back then, obviously, if you can make it to Homestead, which was the last race, with a mathematical chance of winning the championship, you've done your job, right? Now let's go for it. And we were going to be in a really good shot or a really good place. And Mr. Jeffrey chose to hurt our chances a little bit, but it's over now. But definitely,
Oh yeah.
it still stings for sure.
Oh, I trust me. They always brought it up in the booth, which was kind of funny. Every time they were at Phoenix last year, it always had to come up. Hey, Boyer, remember when you came after me in the pits, or Jeff? Boyer,
Yeah,
remember when I chased you? And it just, oh yeah, they went back and forth in the booth, and that was pretty fun.
yeah. There's a side note to that too. The spring race of 2013, Phoenix. We show up and guess who's side by side in points? Us and for. So it was quite awkward in the garage. And I can't. I know there's pictures somewhere. I don't know that I have them, but we got a cake made with the infamous wreck on it, and give it to the 24 in their truck, and they thought we tainted it. I was like, "Geez, guys, we're not
Not that bad.
yeah, right. We're just having a little good time, and I thought TV enjoyed it, and our guys definitely enjoyed it. My guys had a great time racing. Obviously with Clint, it was just always upbeat and fun. So
Mhm. So
not so much on
obviously,
the 24.
yeah. So obviously, the following week after Phoenix, how was it like in the garage area? Was everybody like coming towards the 15 and 24 crew to see what was happening? Were you guys making up at that point,
Oh,
or
there was no making up.
was
No,
it
there was
just
no making up.
full on hating each other?
No, I don't care for the 24 back then. Obviously,
Yeah.
the crew chief I've since, it wasn't his fault, and I've always been friends with him. But yeah, I was mad at Jeff, and I still am. I mean, there's no hiding that. I'm not gonna sit next to him in a booth and think that I'm, friends with him.
Yeah.
He done us pretty dirty, and lied about it quite often, saying it wasn't on purpose, and then whatever.
Yeah. So obviously now you move to Roush after Michael Waltrip Racing, and you started out with Ricky Stenhouse you started out with Biffle in the 16 car, and then of course Roush shut that program down due
Yeah.
to sponsorship deal. But then you moved over to Stent with Ricky Stenhouse, and you won 2 races with him in Talladega. Uh, how was the getting first of all? It was Ricky's only first couple of years in NASCAR. To get him his first career win, what was that like for you as crew chief?
Oh, it was cool. It's to that point, you know, both Juan Pablo and Clint had their career years, under my helm. So I thought, managing the year is what I like to do. It's not just about one race; it's about 36, trying to get the best you can, week in and week out. But execution is key. But it just takes, it's 36 weeks. It's a long season, and so I thought Ricky, if I could keep him, he's obviously always been fast, and if we could kind of do the same things we did with Juan Pablo as far as execution and finishing races, where we're running, we would run well. And obviously winning 2 races that year was cool, and making the chase and making it in the second round when no one gave us a chance, just showed that we had some potential. And yeah, it was good times at Roush.
Hmm. So obviously, and then you also said you were mentioning about earlier in your career you were with Nemechek brothers. During that time, Dale Earnhardt was still around with us. He was obviously one of your guys' competitors. But getting overall to be in the pits and at the racetrack with Dale Earnhardt, was it intimidating? Because I know everybody called him the Intimidator. Was it neat to be there with somebody of that level, or was it just, but all right, he's another racer, we got to beat him?
Well, yeah, it's probably C. When you get in the zone, you kind of so focused on your car and your team that you really kind of blank out everything else. Or that's what I've always done. And that's kind of how I've always approached it. Unless I see a guy outside the track or they come over and want to talk. I'm so focused on our program and our team that, it's everyone's a competitor, right? So it's really not till after the fact, years past, you're like, oh, it was cool, met this guy, or hey, you want to text him and see if he wants to go have a dinner or whatever. But when you're in the garage, man, you're in the zone. You're focused so much, you really don't pay attention.
Obviously, for a fan aspect, it's a little different. I mean, everybody wants to meet that guy or always wants to be
Right.
around that guy.
Right.
For you, it's definitely a lot different. I know.
Yeah. I mean, he was a great guy.
Oh yeah, he
Obviously
was.
Dale Jr. is same way.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of them, right? There's more than him throughout the garage that are
Mm-hmm.
you could hold high and make
Right.
idols. Sure.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, looking at present day, a lot of people have kind of felt that way with Kyle Larson. I know that being he won the track champion or winning not the track championship. I'm so used to dirt racing with track
Yeah.
championships,
Right.
Cup Series championship, and winning all the dirt racing and all the stuff that he's done. It's been he's definitely already been up there looking. But I gotta say, having Dale Jr. testing a next gen definitely brought some spark to almost people thinking and wondering if he'll be
Yeah.
back. Do you think he'll if he gets the opportunity, you think he'll come back for a race or two to run the Cup
I don't think
Series?
so. I think that ship has sailed. I think he's obviously married and kids, and life is great, right? Outside of racing.
Yeah,
I don't
and he
believe
just got
I think it was cool, right? Daytona testing is kind of
yeah.
cool. On drafting session and did single car runs, and it's probably cool for him just to get in and see how the cars drive and be more relevant in the on the TV, speaking about it, just like Clint
Hmm.
did at Bowman Gray.
Hmm. And he, of course, just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. So
That he
congratulations to
did.
him. It was him, Red Farmer, and Mike Stefanik. So congratulations to them. Obviously, now going into Daytona, uh, I mean, you guys, GTD Jordy is an underdog team going into Daytona. Obviously, the goal is to win, but is there a certain strategy with these new race cars on what you guys are going to do to win? Or are you guys going to kind of just survive, be out front if you can? What's kind of that game plan?
Well, everybody wants to win Daytona 500, right? Almost
Oh, yeah.
guarantee your spot. Obviously starts the year off right, and it's huge money for teams. We'll see on Tuesday whenever practice day shows up and kind of unload and see what you got. We've got goals. I mean, we've sat on the 500 pole in 2020, so we want to do that, and I think we're fully capable if we do all the things correctly and cross our T's and dot our I's, and we have potential to do that. So we'll see what happens on Tuesday. Qualifying nights on Wednesday, and then we drafted down there to test, and we drafted last year or in August last year when we had a small group, and I think our handling package is pretty good compared to most. So hopefully it gets hot and slick at Daytona. Get upper 70s would be great.
Hmm.
Handling a little bit more prevalent as far as speed, and see what happens. But yeah, we're going for the win. We're not holding back.
All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you here all day because I know you're a busy man. So, out of all the things you get to do in racing, I ask this question to everybody. What's the favorite part? What's your favorite part about it?
Favorite part? I don't know. Bringing new people to victory lane, I guess, is the cool part. Fortunate to visit victory lane in all three series, and it's just neat to see the newbies, right? The guys first time coming to victory lane and taking the pictures and the beer showers and all that stuff. It's that's probably the most enjoyable.
Hmm. So, before I let you go, is there anything you want to know about me, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah. I mean, what's your future plans? Where are you headed?
Well, right now, I guess, like I told you before the show started, I'm a student at my local BOCES program for digital multimedia, so I'm learning a lot of stuff with computers and technology stuff. My goal, I mean, of course, would be A, to announce the Daytona 500, and B, to be a pit reporter during the NASCAR season, which would be awesome. I'm also, like I said, I got a big dirt background, so I would love to like travel with World of Outlaws or like the Lake Lucas Oil late model or something and get to cover those races and announce them. But my overall goal right now is, well, I got to go to college for a couple of years, of course, to get the degree that I want to go into. I'm looking at a couple of colleges for broadcasting and media purposes, and then my plan is to try to reach out to some of these bigger companies and just see what they can offer. I mean, I know it's hard because a lot of people are on that list and want to be in there because there's always that there's. I was told by another announcer that out of each state, there's always those 4 or 5 people that think, oh yeah, they can do that, and that they're gonna try to reach out to it, and then usually it doesn't work. So
Right.
my goal is just kind of build with what I got right now, and then kind of just work my way into that. I know there's a long list to get into companies like that, and I mean, I've met the right people. I know there's drivers that were already contacting me for eight when I turned 18 and do PR and stuff, and I'm definitely certain to looking about that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a part of media, so that'd be kind of cool as well. But just my overall goal is to be with either NASCAR or one of the top dirt companies and doing media for them.
That's cool. Yeah, I would just say that follow your passion, right? And then you'll never work in your life.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, I had Alan Bestwick come on last year, and he told me, and this was his advice, and I've always stuck by it ever since he told me. It was dare to dream. And what
Yep.
he means by that is dare yourself to dream big. He goes, if you want to dream big and you want to achieve that goal, just keep dreaming about it, and one day it'll come true to you. And
Yeah,
I've stuck to that to this day, and it's always been one of the biggest things I've learned in racing was from that quote right there from him, and it was it's kind of stuck with me since, and I'm kind of just gonna keep dreaming big and dare myself to be there one day.
that's cool.
But well,
That's good
Brian,
advice.
Brian, I thank you for coming on the show. First of all, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Because if so, have at it.
I mean, I don't know. It's obviously Kroger Chevrolet is our two sponsors. NOS is our other one. So yeah, they're great partners of ours, and we got a lot of great partners through our Kroger partnership. So
Mhm.
just go to Kroger.com and order delivery for the Daytona 500.
All right. Well, Brian, I thank you for coming on the show. I'll talk to you a little bit after this ending here. For everybody that's watching, like I said, there's 10 days away till Volusia and Daytona. I'll be down there. So if you do see me down there and you want to chat, I'm always available. If you run into me, just say, hey, what's up? And I'll be there. Um, Obviously, I got to thank my sponsors, Swagger Factory Apparel. Of course, they got these awesome crew shirts, their fire suits, gloves, boots, and all that. And then, of course, Parks Companies for all their amazing support with the channel. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is Brian Pattie, crew chief of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Brian, best of luck to you in Daytona. And other than that, I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and we will see you all in the next podcast. Thank you.